situation, but the Winter Wyvern last pick, it really makes me think that, you know, it offers good deep push. You're going to eventually get Mirana Eggs. You have Ember with Sleight of Fist. They're going to have phenomenal wave clear and really good ways of taking fights. So if they can manage to survive, I think LGD could potentially take this as well.
Okay, so obviously listening from the draft panel that seemed to have this overwhelming feel that the Secret have the stronger draft, you would say maybe fair enough.
Well, their draft is stronger.
Stages, or?
It's stronger in the sense that they have a very simple game plan, and the draft is easy to execute, which is what the panel said. But LGD, if they can take it to the late game and the Emperor gets a lot of farm, they just have so much deep push, and Secret don't really have a lot of sustain. That's another problem. Like, there's no Oracle, there's no, you know, Coddle with an Aghanims, there's no Dazzle, there's nothing to really keep the push going. So once those heroes start getting items, you're just going to eventually get whittled down and be unable to continue the push.
Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, as it all begins to kick off. But, I mean, we've talked about, obviously, in terms of draft, how LGD can deal with a push and obviously how strong of a push Secret are going to have. But in the earlier stages, in the lanes, is there the potential for one team to shut down the other early on? Is there any way we could see this turning into a very one-sided match?
I think it has a lot to do with how LGD decide to lane, and it looks like we will be seeing the Juggernaut mid. It'll just end up being an aggressive Ember in the safe lane. So if the Kunkka and the Mirana goes mid to shoot an arrow or something like that, and they land it, yeah, they can definitely get a kill. But I think Ember would have been a lot easier in getting reliable kills on Artor on the Alchemist. You really wanted to shut him down, but that's really the name of the game, right? Like, shut down the cores of Secret as much as you can. Because between the Terrorblade and the Alchemist, one of the two, I guess Secret's game plan is that they're going to be able to get some level of items on them, and then just overwhelm with just sheer farm.
You can see him in the middle lane already, getting a fair bit of harassment down onto Artor. Top lane aggressive, playing around with Bulba. And do a good job of harassing back as we have this 2-on-2 lane up at the moment on the top. And then again, just constant torrent spams being used on Arteezy. Make sure that maybe can get the farm at the start that he needs. See how well Artor's able to deal with it. For the time being, this Alk is going to be left alone. So Arteezy not receiving any backup from his teammates at the moment in the mid lane.
He might be in trouble.
Indeed, as maybe moving in aggressively, and Artor the crit!
Not the slightest bit screaming.
Keep going no matter what! Don't give up halfway, his mum told him, and he certainly went the full whole hog there.
My god, that blade dance point, that is some serious value if I've ever seen it. That's got to be so frustrating as well. Like, you're getting 2v1s, you get like first hit crit after the spin under the tower, and you know that, like you've already mentioned, there's not really going to be any support rotations that are going to be helping you out during the early game, so curious to see what Seeker's response to this is going to be.
I mean, in terms of obviously the way that the mid lane's going down, are we looking at the side of Secret saying, well, at least the other side lanes are going good for them? Or is that not necessarily the case?
Well, obviously, Envy is going to be having an okay time. Like, he fought meta just to force that way back a little bit in lane. You're going to see it going here. A little bit of a fight over the room. Banana gets it. Nicely done.
Punapi unable to stop Kuka from getting his hands on that pie. And you just make sure that Arteezy is able to head down. Grab the bounty, couple of points and previous at the moment, so the bonus is going to be well received. We can see, as you said, Envy's getting farm, but at the same time, we look towards the mid-jug, and he's actually on parallel with the farm at the safe lane. Terrorblade, so maybe certainly having the start that you'd need to have in a best-of-1 situation against a side as Team Secret. Absolutely fantastic start at the moment for Jug. Top lane, the safe lane for LGD, certainly being slowed down a little bit more than Envy on the respective side, as Aggressive is having a lot more pressure put onto him, but he's still 9 for 2, 10 for 2. The CS is there. He's got the backup of MMY as well, so it certainly feels this is going to be a little bit hard for Bulba and Puppy to get a kill on Aggressive, with this Wyvern consistently in place for the saves to be there.
I feel like it's actually harder for Secret to kill LGD's safe lane than it is for the reverse to happen. They're going to try to go for Puppy though, immediate TP, good response. This is kind of what I was saying, it's when you pop the Arctic Burn, you're just taking a huge amount of damage even if you only get one auto. And then if Aggressive hits you with Searing Chains and a little bit of the Flame Guard damage, you already have to back or you have to use some regen. So they're very good at efficiently trading in this lane on LGD.
You can see down bottom, realizing that Envy, he's got the space and he's got the start that he needs. Twilight Die's going to leave the lane and he's now come towards the mid to make sure that Arteezy's got the backup he needs in case maybe goes in aggressive again. So CSY 22 for 7 against the 13 for 0. This Jug certainly having the favorable time at the moment in the mid. Top lane, Banana, potential wraparound. Iser is on to Bulba. The X-Marks are set up and aggressive. Moving in with the flame guard. They're going to stun onto Banana. The damage isn't going to quite be enough. Puppy's trying to chase him down. But Bulba, he looks to be the one to fall in this engagement as LGD find themselves with the body blocks from aggressive. They're going to hit the torrent. And LGD, they get themselves another double kill for MMY. 4 minutes in already, the lane's looking to go very favorably for the side of LGD.
This is exactly what they want as well. Just shutting down the lanes as hard as they can. Our Torb has already been forced into buying that Iron Talon in the middle lane just because his laning phase has been more or less a struggle. And as we already mentioned, it's just so much easier for LGD to get kills with their heroes during the early game. Secret really do have 2 defensively postured supports. Just Avenge Sun is not going to be enough in order to get a kill. It might pressure, but that's not really, it's not enough at this point.
Easy, of course, is going to have these stacks to help catch up farm of maybe, and it's going to get to the point as well where they've got to be very careful in the mid lane. Just about to hit 6 on the jug. We'll have the Omni Slash ready for the next fight. So they've got to be very careful how close they come to the jug and how much they poke him. Top lane, Bulba has been left alone once again. Puppy in a movement at the moment towards the mid. Supports eyeing up maybe, but indeed maybe! He just comes in and rips Puppy to shreds. Oh, 4-0. LGD is just playing games for Secret at the moment. Pi has to disrupt and run. Going to be able to get himself away from the DD jug. Maybe 2 kills, 36 CS. This is a fantastic start for the mid jug.
I mean, everyone in LGD is just doing well. Even, you know, you look at Zhao Wei, the bottom lane is level 5, he's still got 20 CS. That's the same CS as Artur has right now, on an off-lane Mirana. And a lot of that's just due to the fact that Secret supports have been having to rotate around to address the issues in other lanes. So LGD are making the proper movements, going for kills.
Envy close the gap here, the booster speed from the leap of Zhao Wei, trying to get a race to the X-Mark, and he's got it! Running out the damage, although they give an arrow. Applies there with the defensive disruption, and an LGD. They won't get away with a kill down here on the bottom lane this time. Applies there in time with the save.
Thanks you.
But still, I mean, if you're Secret, obviously a bit of a shaky start. Maybe even it's not going to stop at that, because maybe this man getting all the runes in the world, he's got a hat. Killing spree for maybe. Mummy's proud. This is. You can hear the chants!
He's going completely ham this game.
Oh my goodness.
The ward obviously paying dividends there. They saw him doing the creep camp, and I don't know if the Hawk hasn't been in position, right? So I'm not entirely sure why he didn't back sooner, because I think he would have seen the Juggernaut coming, but a little bit unfortunate there, the Beastmaster dropping. Maybe just has no fear right now, just aggressively walking forward.
30 seconds, and Omni Slash is going to be at the ready again, so another potential free kill. If Secret come too close, it's easy just trying to move in for the farm, but maybe being able to get the first hit crits every time onto this out. I'm sure that Artur can't find the farm that he needs. Artsy obviously with the stacks is starting to catch back up. Working towards that armlet builder, of course, as well on the Alchemist, but we can see net worth maybe comfortably at the top of the moment this game.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Now Secret, you're looking for the Beastmaster Roar, I think, first and foremost. Like, Sam needs to hit level 6, and once that happens, get a Beastmaster Roar. There's not really a reliable save on the side of LGD, make sure you have the Cold Embrace, but I'm pretty sure you can still kill through that if you're Secret, and they're going to need those rotations to be successful, because these cores are just going to need some room. I mean, sure, the Alchemist is starting to recover now. He's been getting some jungle creeps. He's back up to 42 CS, so he's kind of brought himself back into the game.
Oh, look at it. Omni Slash at the ready. Maybe in Banana. They're looking for Arteezy. If Arteezy gets caught here, oh, he's got to hope that he can get out. Gonna hope for some backup. There is backup from Secrets too. Looks like they won't move in for the kill. But still, positions like that, as we've seen the aggression from LGD come out. Top aggressive. Jumping in aggressively with the Remnants. MMY trying to close the gap as well onto Puppy. Still continue to chase down, but now got the catch. Puppy's going to be fine this time. LGD with the last couple of plays, unable to find the catch that they're looking for. Banana. Got eyes towards Artur, and there is a jug coming round from behind. Maybe he's got to be careful. There's a hell of a lot of players with Secret here. He's got an Invis. Again, maybe he gets a DD, a Haste rune, and an Invis rune. He seems to be, you know, pulling runes out his backside.
mean, if they split up, he's just waiting for them to separate. He can go for a kill. Envy has a mango there.
Envy and Puppey, they've got to stay close. Oh, he's been left behind, baby! Dominating streak! It just doesn't get any better at the moment for the
He might be in trouble though.
He has got an Omni. We'll see how he plays his way out of this one. He's just going to run, healing ward down. There's the roar. Maybe. He may be shut down this time. He goes for the blade through. He continues to move back. Banana is there.
They're not going to get it.
He gets himself out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I mean, this whole game at the moment is just a highlight clip for maybe.
He's honestly playing out of his mind. And I mean, in this situation when you're Juggernaut, there's just so many opportunities for you to go for these aggressive plays because the supports just don't do anything. It's like, sure, you have this defensive save, you can stop his TP, but if you don't have a follow-up stun, just even having Roar wasn't enough because nobody deals damage. Like, the meta was already down from killing the Ancient stack. There was just nothing to follow up the damage, and he
Radiant's
just walks it
bottom
off.
tower is under attack.
And meanwhile, Xiao Wei, you know, offlane Mirana, he's racking up the farm, he's getting all the space in the world to put pressure onto a tier 2 as well.
They forgot he existed in this game. They're worried about the Juggernaut 24/7 because Baby's just on their side of the map finding kills with haste runes and invis and double damage.
Losing a tier 2, 10 minutes in on their safe lane.
Radiant's bottom
Secret
tower has fallen.
losing map control, losing game control at the moment against LGD. Now, aggressive. You want that
Taking a-
bounty rune, son? You're not getting it.
Yeah, taking Bounty Rune away from Alchemist is really big. A huge influx of gold for him that he now does not have access to. Looks like 3 members of LGD. They are just hungry right now for blood.
And I like this as well from Maybe. He's picked up the Yasha as well. So we saw in that last instance where they've got the disruption, the roar, but after that he drops the healing ward, he runs away. I mean, good luck chasing this man down now.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard opening. Like, he can go back to the battlefield if he wants. He can just go straight into the SMY or go master the Defusal. I think his options are pretty open in this game. With already having the massive amount of deep push, he may just opt for the more aggressive choice. Let his teammates soak a little bit more up at the map.
I'm just setting up to try and put something here. Immediate backup from Xiao Wei. In fact, hitting an arrow onto Pylight. They're going to try and move in. And MY setting up. Now look for the kill on DSD. Pylight dies. Disrupts himself. And it's not going to save him. Those LGD finish through the kill. 7 kills in at the moment, and Secret yet to be able to get a taste for blood themselves. As LGD moving in on the tissue. Oh, Brett! Maybe they're looking for the kill. Mega kill streak. It just doesn't stop for the Jug.
My goodness, this is just an absolute clinic being put on by LGD right now. All of their movements so far in the early game have been successful. I mean, you could probably attribute a lot of the early game games to just the runes that Baby was getting, but that's what happens when you actually can control them. That's the big issue that Secret had this game. Is there was only like I think it was, one rune that Secret actually got? The Arcane Rune, the Invis, the DD, and the Haste that maybe got back-to-back. All of those runes pretty much resulted in kills. That is not okay if you're Secret. Like, you need to stop LGD from getting on your side of the map. You need to stop them from getting these constant kills, slow the pace down, and try to get some farm on your heroes before you just get overwhelmed.
We'll take that.
Time he does get himself the bounty ring. Maybe he was eyeing it up, but not quite close enough to close the gap. And you can already see a movement from Secret, sending 4 heroes up towards the top lane. Pi and Envy smoked up, ready for a play. I mean, getting a kill, or at least transitioning this move into taking a tier 1, maybe even putting some pressure onto a tier 2 would be great for Secret. Send the Hawk over with the confined behind lines. And indeed, MMY is there at the moment. A scan from LGD will confirm suspicions that Secret are there, getting ready to push into position. And LGD, they're heading over. They're ready to fight. There's a DD at the moment, still active on aggressive. He's got a TP available if he wants to join the fight as well. Let's see how LGD kick us off. Secret, going for it. Should be a roll from Providence. Taking him away out of the fight first. So, actually a good start for Secret. Got themselves a kill. Roll goes for the TP out. He's not going to make it though. Aggressive. Chains into Xiao Wei's arrow. So they end up finding a trade. LGD losing a support, taking a core. We fine with that, and LGD do hold the tower.
I would say in the grand scheme of things, that trade is probably okay just because RTZ is able to farm during this downtime. Although they will lose a tower in the process more than likely, so LGD is still pretty much executing their game plan. I don't think that Secret are going to be able to kill this tower, though. I would expect LGD to defend this given how far ahead they are. And again, Metamorphosis is going to be down here from Envy, so I'm not sure if they can even deal enough damage to the tower in the first place to get it.
LGD absolutely ruthless with these pushes. 13 minutes in. They're taking tier 1s, tier 2s from both the top and bottom lane. Just a tier 2 standing in the mid on the side of Secret. The push from LGD at this pace of the game, it just can't be stopped. And I guess this is something that we expected when you see Secret with a lineup such as the Out and the Terrorblade. At this point of the game, if the enemy starts to step up the heat, there's not a lot you can do to slow it down.
Well, that's why I was kind of talking about the damage output. This high.
What a run, he's got a hide, but Xiaowei straight away with an arrow. Another kill for LGD.
You had no place here.
This is getting very, very messy for Secret. And on a podium where they needed to perform, they need to step it up. But 14 minutes in, falling behind. RTZ, he is still top of the net worth, but only just. And it's certainly not the leader buff that you'd hope to have as an Alchemist at this stage of the game.
Radiant's
LGD
middle tower is under
finished
attack.
his job off in the mid lane to take that final tier 2 away from the side of Secret. And this is a bit of a problem position as we can see now, but this time round Secret, full 5-man, up on the high ground, no one's being able to get anything done on the side.
The scary thing after this for Secret is just, we talked about LGD being able to push out lanes very well once they start to get items. Well, they're going to get all the item progression, they've taken all your towers, and they're also going to get Roshan. Like, Secret contesting that pit is going to be so difficult when they're this far behind. They need their cores to have more items before they start going for these fights, and LGD just aren't giving them any breathing room. They're just getting slowly asphyxiated and just losing engagement after engagement. They've gotten 1 kill, 15-minute game.
I mean, obviously with all the outer towers gone, I mean, let's talk high ground defense for Secret. Is it even that good holding a base against the push of LGD?
I think it's actually a little bit difficult for LGD to go high ground at such an early stage, but their lineup is very good at controlling the map. You know, we talk about lane shove and stuff like that, and what it really means is that Secret are going to be so busy killing creeps that are outside of their base that they won't really have time to do anything else. So what happens is you just lose control of your jungle, all the lanes are pushing constantly, and LGD farms all 3 lanes and the woods and has Roshan control for an extended period of time. And usually that just means that Secret will fall too far behind in terms of golden experience and just ultimately lose because they can't keep up with items. And that's probably the way that LGD go about this. Now sure, there's always a factor where you can get a pick-off and go for Rosh, or get a pick-off and go for base. It's always possible. Thing for Secret right now, it's just desperation trying to find farm.
And this smoke as well, 3 of them coming out. They can find maybe on the Juggernaut, that'd be absolutely huge. The question is if they're actually going to be able to have the damage to finish him off. He is going to walk head into the zone, he gets out the Metamorphosis with the Raw.
Big kill.
Control. That's the kill that Secret needed.
That is a big kill. Pretty
Certainly,
much.
they're going to need a few more of those.
Yeah.
But that is a way to kick it off.
And they do have the Radiance now on the Alchemist. All things considered, this is still a pretty decent timing. LGD, Mirana ulti looking for something. What a torrent!
The torrent from Banana connects, but can't quite find Puppy. Actually reveal his position with a wave of terror. It's Magic Missile onto Xiaowei. Envy's coming across the crowd and highlight down the bow! Onto both of them though! They've lost the second Secret. Boulder and Envy looking towards the Draco, but he remnants away. LGD happy with the 2 kills and now getting themselves out, but unable to punish them. Secret losing the 2 supports, but not. Oh, he drunk his rum, but he drunk too much. He was absolutely off the edge there. He was pissed out his mind, that man. He thought he could get away and he couldn't. What a madman.
He wasn't walking in a straight line.
He was
say that
definitely
much.
drunk.
Yeah.
Too much.
It happens
too much rum.
sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You forget how much damage you actually take with the buff on, and then you're like, oh,
I'm invincible.
Yep. It does happen to the best of us, but LGD is still in a pretty good position. Blink now picked up on the Winter Wyvern, so his positioning in team fights, you know, you get a good curse, and you're playing against like Beastmaster and Terrorblade, you just annihilate anybody if they get caught in that radius. So another thing that Secret are going to have to be very, very concerned about. And as the game kind of stretches on, the Beastmaster Roar, that's like one of their main forms of initiation. You can have that Cold Embrace, and it just stops so much of the incoming damage, because Alchemist and Terrorblade, a lot of it is physical.
Yeah, it really is a lot. Kind of similar to the series we saw this morning. It is going to be relying on the TB damage output. Obviously for TNC it worked wonders, but indeed they didn't have the same heroes that Secret have got to deal with in terms of stopping the damage output of the Terrorblade. And now, 18 minutes in, Xiaowei Academ's this done on the Mirana. Very, very scary item pickups coming out from the side of LGD. LGD with the smoke movement, they're ready to react to Secret's
Dire's
potential
top
push up
tower
top.
is under
But it looks like
attack.
Secret already
Dire's
aware that something's going on,
structures are
and they're going to
fortified.
stick around for this, and they're straight out of there. So good awareness of Secret, avoiding rotation from
Dire's
LGD,
top tower
and
has
Secret will still
fallen.
get the tower done with the Necro units.
You know, slowly but surely, Secret are clawing their way back into this. Yeah, LGD are still ahead. They haven't managed to secure Roshan. Secret are starting to get a little bit of the map back in their control. You know, they're forcing LGD to move around a bit. It's a sign of life that Secret League desperately needs.
LGD with the D-Ward, Secret. Moment just keeping together as a team in case any rotation comes around from the side of LGD. So we can see obviously with the Alchemist, RTZ furiously pushing the lanes out, making it a lot harder for LGD to get away with these movements over Secret's side of the map.
Oh, this could be big.
Dire's middle
This
tower
could either be
is under
amazing
attack.
or real
Radiant's
bad.
top
They're in the
tower
Roche
is
pit
under
pie.
attack.
He's going for the bait. He says, guys, oh no, come and get me, LGD!
This is worse. This is so worse. So worse.
Pie, he's done his job, and Secret take the Roshan, get RTZ the Aegis.
That was such a good move.
Pie lie die with the intentional plays.
That is what you call tanking the gank
Absolutely.
in a big way. That was so important for Secret. LGD, they don't have the easiest team to go high ground with. You know, Ember is not really a tower hitter. Mirana with Aghanims, not really a tower hitter. Juggernaut does okay. But the problem is you're against this Terrorblade who can pop meta and hit you, and you have to push into Acid Spray and all these other illusions, and it's not easy for LGD to go for tier 3s. And without the use of an Aegis, it's even harder. That allows Secret to delay the game a bit. I mean, LGD are eventually going to have their Battle Furies out on the Juggernaut and the Ember, so there will eventually be this power spike where the cores are able to just shove lanes almost indefinitely, and that's always going to be a problem, but Secret takes that objective.
It's all just scaring off Ember, aggressive. As you said, you know, both of course against Battle Fury. I mean, obviously with them now working towards the Battle Fury, once they've got that done, do you expect to see LGD just utilizing that to continue to farm up, or do they still want to fight at this point? Are they waiting for any further items now to tackle Secret?
I think it's just keep the lanes pushed as hard as you can. Lane equilibrium is something that their lineup does very well. And against Secret, who don't really have great ways of initiating outside of just Beastmaster, I think it's a pretty good way to play the game, because then it becomes much more obvious what Secret are doing out on the map. But Secret, not wanting to give them an opportunity, they're only going to see the Alchemist right now. Everyone else under the guise of smoke. But did they? No, they didn't see the Hawk summon. The Hawk was summoned before the smoke, so they didn't see that pop out either. They have some kind of idea, though, that this is a bait.
With that D-board down, LGD, where there's so many fishes going on. And see Secret, they realized that the Pylon die bait was successful earlier. They're seeing if they can pull off the same strat, but LGD wants to fall for the same trick twice. Secret, though, with the lane pushing around, they are getting themselves in a position to tap at the tier 2. Walk down. LGD well aware of what's going on this top lane. Secret, they might not be afraid to show their hand. We'll see how heavy they want to go in on this push. See how LGD reacts. Already 2 TPs back to the tier 3. Make that the third. LGD are ready to try and form some sort of a defense. Moonlight Shadow from Jiaowei to help try and get in position. From very far in, they're looking for Artor. The Tar will connect. Let's see if they chase this down to half health. Be able to tank it off, head back. Still as it is just the 3 here. Neither Jug, maybe, or Aggressive Ember is around. Besides the 3 of them, Jiaowei, MMY, and Banana will be able to stop the push from Secret.
It's still okay situation here for Secret. Obviously, they'd like a few more kills under their pocket, or maybe a little bit more map control for the time being. Just getting that Roshan, allowing MD and RT to continue farming all this time. Quite a big deal for them to make sure that they're staying inside of the game. But as soon as it fades, I would assume that LGD are going to go for some kind of aggressive play. They want to reestablish complete control of the map. You can see their aggressive wards. They have an idea that obviously Secret are going to be farming their jungle. We'll see if they can get map control if they want so desperately back.
Obviously, at this point, they do still have the Aegis on RTZ.
Not for much longer though.
It's probably coming to the end of the fight.
I think it's got like a minute 30 or a minute left right now.
And then once that's gone, do you imagine will it see Secret once again just playing it safe until they're able to get their hands on the next Aegis? If you're Secret at this point, there's no point in trying to do anything too aggressive without the Aegis.
Now, I think they want to continue to dodge fights. Their high ground is pretty good. It's making sure that LGD can't crack the base. not giving them any opportunities to get, somebody picked off on the side of Secret, and then LGD get an opportunity to go high ground.
As we can see,
Oh, he has Blink.
Dire's top
Is he
tower
going to go
is
for this?
under
No.
attack.
It's too far.
Arteezy is rather far in on his own. Bolts off cooldown in 5 seconds. Banana is going to spot him. See how he plays his way around this one as there's Juggernaut and Winter Wyvern inbound. Arteezy's going for the TP out. Not going to make it though. MMY cancelling the TP with his ultimate, and Artor, left alone, tried to come out for some farm, but the Aegis is down. Any kind of reaction from Secret, we're seeing the 4-man head straight over there. Arteezy going to try and buy himself sometimes with the man to the arm here. Toggle, Artor, turn around and get that far back, will be brought down. Secret realizing that the outs are lost cause. And make sure there's no more casualties up top. And hey, sneaky tier 2. Yes, please, says Envy. Norman needs to pocket off Terrorblade. But it did cost them Artor's life.
Dire's middle
It was about the
tower
best
is
thing
under
that could have
attack.
happened. I thought the response was a bit strange. They were really far away. Night Shadow, though.
It's a smart sentry. Make sure that they don't get caught off here. Xiao indeed. Pressing forward, aggressive. Well, Lamenting in, looking for a kill. They found Pylai Die. Got the Demonic Purge on aggressive, but none of the rest of Secret are going to want to follow that through. LGD take themselves another. Continues to keep themselves in this very, very strong position. As we can see, MV at this point with the Terrorblade picks up a BKB, so preparing a little bit more for these fights by the looks of it.
Yeah, he just realizes that LGD want to try to go high ground. And that's a really good choice, I think, because if you get hit by Ember Spirit, Juggernaut Spin, just the Mirana damage as well with the Aghanim Scepter, it can be a lot for a Terrorblade to deal with. And he still does a ton of damage in meta, even without the use of an additional item like Manta Style. So I think the itemization is just saying, if you try to go high ground, we're going to have the strongest defense possible. And we still farm at a pretty decent rate, even though LGD are doing the best they can to try to pressure in the situation. But again, it's a best of one, right? So you need to be prepared for the high ground push of LGD if they want to go in.
Absolutely, it's certainly a position in the game that's very easy for you to throw it away. As you said, LGD, and that they can take their time here. Not too much pressure being felt at all. Especially when you continue to look at just comparisons like the Farmer Xiao 8 compared to Bulba. Fair gap at the moment between the Mirana and the Beastmaster. That's certainly where the biggest gap lies so far amongst the team. Arteezy now beginning to get himself into the ahead. Maybe Juggernaut, thanks to the radius of the Manta. He's picking up the farm on the Alchemist to a pace that Secret needs it to be at. Arteezy certainly stepping up his game after the first few plunges in the mid lane early on.
He's getting there. The question is he getting there fast enough? Because I feel like already having, multiple Battle Furies out on LGD, I'm pretty sure that at some point, when push comes to shove, that during fights, the Alchemist just isn't really, he's not far ahead enough. We look at some of the previous games, you see almost double net worth in the next highest person, and unfortunately, he's not in that position right now, so I'm kind of concerned that if Secret delayed the game too long just to make sure the Alchemist gets items, then both the Juggernaut and the Ember are going to have items. Even, Xiao Wei is going to have items. And then you're pretty much playing like 2 cores against 3 at that stage, and I'm not sure if Secret can afford to do that, so there needs to come a point where Secret are feeling confident enough to take a fight on their own terms and really get something big off the map and take something away from LGD.
GG. Run across again. Secret though, reading the situation very, very well. Still on the high ground. LGD unable to find anyone with this medium. Usually have just idle guy at the moment. As we keep saying, this man has had an incredible game. He's been given so much space. 3-0-5. Similar farm to that of his own safe lane. Aggressive Ember Spirit. This is very, very scary for Secret. They've really got a hold on. As you said, it's not necessarily enough to prolong the game because of the fact that LGD have these 2 Battle Fury farming cores. So in that sense, are you saying that Secret, they do need to look for fights?
They actually need to take a fight, but they need to take a fight when they have the proper items. I think that the way that Envy itemized, like buying the BKB at such an early stage, that's a really unfortunate stack to be taken away.
That's gonna happen.
And there's just so many things that's going on for LGD. Like we go back to the beginning of the game and how much Maybe was dominating with his ridiculous rune RNG. And that just set the pace for LGD to completely take over during an early mid-game.
Running around with a DD rune. LGD, they are moving across as well. Xiao Jumping forward, looking for the arrow. Poppy! Oh, arrow to the face. The defensive disruption from Pi. Will by Poppy sometimes. So Giant moves in, takes him down. Envy pops the BKB. Time to take down, maybe. Gotta be careful now. He's got to back up. Envy looks to chase them down. Bit of an awkward Sunder there. Doesn't really achieve too much. Now the Xiao Hei jumps straight back in. Aggressive hits the chains onto Envy. Another defensive disruption from Pi. Keeping Envy alive. MMY drops the ult, but we can see Arteezy's illusion beating down onto MMY. They'll lose the Wyvern with this fight. LGD just finding the 1-1 trade there. So Secret very happy to get out with minimal losses, keeping Envy alive in a situation where LGD threw down everything at him. Some big disruptions from Pi that time.
That certainly could have gone a heck of a lot worse. I'm pretty sure as soon as Envy sundered, LGD were like screaming to go in. Because he has no BKB, he has no sunder, and they have Blink on Xiao Wei. So I'm actually surprised that LGD didn't commit to that a little bit harder. You even saw the Winter's Curse being used on him when the disruption ended because his own illusions are actually hitting him. And then he was at like, 10-15% health. Roshan's going to be up real soon. So LGD might not have wanted to take that risk and just, keep their established map control to make sure that when they go for Roshan, they're not going to get into that one position where you can actually go in and take a team fight.
And in terms of fighting around the Roshan pit, how good are the scores that Secret have at this stage?
I mean, the Beast Master Vision's nice, but realistically, engaging onto what LGD have is very difficult given their hero composition. Like, they're more made for this siege lineup where you're using illusions, alchemist, and the Terrorblade to hit buildings and such. They're not really built for a Roshan fight. You can kill it very fast if the enemy team's not ready.
Give the arrow, he's going to catch Pi. Go in, there'll be no defensive disruptions. LGD are kicking off. It was just the two of them, the Kunkka and the Mirana that was in the neighborhood. You want to fall through onto Secret. Now picked up by Boulder, so they are going to have that good bit of setup with the Blink roll, but at the same time, you got to look at the fact, aggressive. He has got that Lincoln Sphere, and over on Xiao Wei, he's pretty much got one done as well. So nearly two of the cores of Lincoln's up. That's going to put a bit of a spanner in the works for Boulder looking for the initiation.
It's going to make it that much harder to fight around Roshan as well. Secret, they realize how important Roshan is. They don't want to go back to their side of the map farm and allow LGD to just get to that Roshan pit uncontested. They want to try to take something away. If we're not going to fight around Rosh, we're going to at least pressure a tier 2. We're going to push the other lane so you can't just walk up to our base. Doing everything they can to put themselves in a better position right now.
And as we can see, in terms of pressure, it's working perfectly. They managed to pull the lane round right towards the tier 2 in the mid. Top lane has been kept shoved right up to the doors of LGD's base. LGD, the pit, to take down Roche. Secret at the moment in LGD's jungle. They're going to have to head over it quickly if they want to have a chance of contesting this. But LGD, already taken it down to half health. Coming across the Secret, well aware of what's going on. Looks like they're going to make the decision not to contest it. And we'll just look for the tier 2 trade instead.
Quite for them around the Roshan pit. Because the heroes that they have are not really well built for fighting in that enclosed space. So they're going to give it up. They were at least able to clear the tier 2, which, having the middle and top lane push just takes LGD a little bit longer to make use of that Aegis. Smoke is going to be up just in time here, so it's going to be purchased by the Winter Wyvern, and I assume as soon as LGD get their lanes out just a little bit, they'll want to use some kind of aggressive smoke just to force Secret back again and re-establish their map control.
I'm not sure LGD, how do you deal with this amount of kind of split push pressure that Secret are putting on? Is it a case of just grouping up as 5 and going, or do you yourself have to kind of split the resources across the lane and try and bring all lanes in tandem back over to Secret's half of the map at the same time?
I think for now, it's probably a little bit better to just split up the map if you're Secret, because fighting into the 5-man of LGD, if they have Aegis, is really tough. And LGD also have very good wave clear themselves, so it's going to be this constant war between both of the teams trying to make sure that they're keeping the lanes pushed in some regard. But as time goes on, it's going to get easier for LGD, because that Ember is going to get more farm, he's going to get a damage item, probably after this Linkage, unless he feels like he needs Blink. Yeah, he just goes crit instead, so he's going to start hitting real hard, real soon.
That's the thing as well. I mean, looking at LGD's lineup, they seem to have the kind of perfect balance of both physical burst and magical burst. You look towards the Mirana, even the Kunkka with his boat and Torrent, and then obviously with the Jug, the Ember Spirit. They seem to have all fronts covered in terms of when it comes to taking down Secret's cores.
They have all their bases covered, and it makes it very difficult to itemize. Because when you have a good damage, one item isn't just like super OP. LGD proving again They are one of the better teams here.
It's a pretty immaculate performance at the moment. Secret being able to slow it down. LGD putting on the pressure, and you can see already from the D push, maybe takes a fair bit of damage. The illusions that Secret sends out to hold back the side. But they have got the self-sustain thanks to the Jug Healing Ward. And TZ doing his best to just cut the creeps off and make sure that LGD aren't going to have the chance to bring a wave up to the high ground of Secret. Eventually that's certainly going to happen with LGD grouped up as they are around mid, ready to put pressure on, ready to try and make the most use they can out of the Aegis on maybe at the moment.
I mean, they can get some chip damage on the tier 3.
A bit of an arrow magnet, it seems, this game. Looks like LGD won't be able to do anything off the back of that connection. Now they're just moving, get some damage onto the tier 3. Secret, see what the response is. Shivers coming out from Artor. LGD will scatter.
Even if they don't necessarily do a ton of damage each push, they will eventually get the tower, and then the Rack is being exposed forces people to make a decision on whether they want to fight or not. 2 minutes left now. But want to at least get the tower before the Aegis fades, which should be pretty easy for them to do.
Top lane have already started aggressive damage. Push aggressive, able to zip Injured back over if the fight requires it. Maybe again beginning to build a nice little sum of money in his bank. 4.3k. For the means 9 that Aegis in one of his slots. Serena has been complete by RTZ, so the D push is certainly going to get a little bit easier. Spam out even more on these waves. And harder for LGD to break the base, but now they're going to come in hard. Moonlight Shadow comes as well. They're ready to take a fight against Secret if they come in with the defense. Aggressive, trying to put the slide out now. Jumps in, the burst onto Puppy. The defensive destruction keeps them alive. Xiaowei! Cold Embrace, gonna get out! Cold Embrace, Xiaowei still alive. Envy trying to get the damage in, but it's not enough to save from MLY. Allowing Xiaowei to stand right in front of the side of Secret and get himself the hell out.
My god, Cold Embrace and the Rum together saving Xiaowei. They're even going to use the exit boost to bring him back to buy a salve as well. Max efficiency here. That was so clutch. And again, showcasing why it's so good against Secret's team. They're just mostly physical damage. So as soon as the burst is thrown out, if you get the Cold Embrace, you just can't die.
At this point, of course, LGD taking the tier 3. It's now exposed. Poppy picks up a hood, trying to help with the burst that LGD do have when they jump in. We are getting to the point where it's pretty much less than a minute left on that Aegis. We'll see how much more LGD are able to achieve with it. We're really not seeing, I mean, the amount of illusions being sent out with these Mantas, the disruption illusions. Secret can safely push these lanes back out. It's just a question of how hard LGD can jump past that D push and get themselves stuck into a fight inside Secret space. Aggressive, the Invis rune. See if we can get a catch onto anyone on the side of Secret that comes out, but at the moment, they're not going to fall for it. Not easy. Keeping himself well and truly up on the high ground. LGD have the time to push it again. Aegis is gone. I mean, how much of an issue is this for LGD that they're unable to take the racks at this stage? Are you feeling worried if you're LGD, or can you play around this? Do you know that there's going to be a point where Secret have to leave the base and then you feel that you've got the superior fight to take them down? How do you kick off a high ground push now?
I think you're looking, oh okay, there's a Daedalus. I was going to say, you're looking for the Daedalus to be complete. That just boosts the damage output a tremendous amount, especially when you're talking about one good sleight of hand. You can take down the Manta, you can take down the Terrorblade illusions as well. That's going to allow a lot more time for LGD to actually hit those things, whereas right now you can see they're still kind of struggling a little bit to take down the illusions of the Alchemist and the Terrorblade. I mean, you do have to leave the base at some point to win the game if you're Secret, so even if LGD sit here for like 30 minutes and just keep doing this, at the very least they know that they have map control.
That's a disruption from Pine, RTZ. He's away from the point, Puppy. As he's swapping maybe back. Looking to take down maybe one in. The Cold Embrace from MLY, keeping maybe alive. They've lost Puppy. Envy, poke the BKB.
No mana.
Down onto maybe getting forced out. They kill the Jug. It's a big kill for Secret. But they need more items to aggression. Thunder from Envy. But the follow-up damage isn't there. Doesn't look like an aggressive remnants away. LGD have lost the Jug. Secret only losing Puppey in return, so big fight. Good plays there from Envy, keeping LGD away from sticking around for more, securing the team fight win for the side of Secret, and a successful defense of that as well.
The Cold Embrace actually ended up backfiring a bit there because maybe got all his mana burned by the Necro Book while he was inside of the Cold Embrace, so as soon as it ends, he couldn't Omni Slash, he couldn't spin, no healing board, no nothing. He was just a Juggernaut with no abilities to use, and unfortunately for him, the physical damage output on Secret was a bit too much for him to handle. Very nice heads there from Team Secret.
Alright, getting for the Jiao 8. Lead trap. Will stop the advance of Secret. Pressing! Oh, chugs Pie to pieces! A couple of crits to remove the Shadow Demon from the game. As we're seeing now, at this point, you cannot mess with Aggressive and his Flaming Swords.
It's only going to get worse too. He's going to get another damage item, whether it be MKB or maybe a second Daedalus. He really, really needs that illusion clearing capability.
Secret, obviously now at this point with LGD backing off the pressure, giving Secret the security to feel that they can come out, try and get a little bit more done outside on the map. LTZ heading towards the top, 0.6k. I mean, how can we expect to see this build from the Alchemist continue now? I mean, are we going to get into territory where Aghanims for any certain hero is going to be pretty big if RTZ is able to give it to the team?
I mean, the Aghanims for Secret's team are pretty good. I mean, the Shadow Demon Aghanims is pretty good for the 3 chargers and the break. Then you also have the Venge one as well, so you can get like the defensive Vengeance Aura, which takes away damage, and the bonus Vengeance Aura at the same time. That one's also kind of good. There's not like, in my opinion, any game-breaking Aghanims on their team per se. I guess you're like disabling Jug's crit, the Shadow Demon Ags. It's not really like super crazy or anything. It still helps, you know, it gives you stats, gives you a little bit more utility.
The Diffusal picked up as well, Franvi. Similar in the sense, as you said, obviously before the Necro Book's burning the mana, now you've got to worry about Envy burning it as well if you're Cold Embrace. So you're certainly going to have to play a little bit more careful around the way that MMY looks to save his teammates. Secret, ready to come out on the map with the smoke. Roshan is going to be back up in about less than a minute. Secret knowing that this is the time to hit hard at LGD, find a pick-off so they can assert some sort of dominance around this timing and area of the map. As Roshi is about to be back up, he's going to yes, the swap, he's going to roar, maybe, squad out, the corner breaks it again, the mana, it's gone! Look at the honor, but it's on an illusion and RTZ, chasing aggressive off to the side, MV pops the BKB, LGD will have to back off, he won't quite get a kill, as we're seeing Secret now, managing to build up the courage to get the jump in themselves.
They can't fight this anymore though. They just used everything and they didn't get the kill on the Juggernaut. He's already pretty much back up to full health, full mana. There's also a DD on Ember. He's got to run the bottom lane if he wants to go back.
Straight pass, clearing out the wave, allowing the space for Envy to take this tier 1 aggressive. He's got a DD, he's got a DD, you got to be careful. A bit spam and okay, the poor Arthur. He needs a bit of help, he needs a bit of save there. Defensive disruption from Pi. Is it going to be enough to allow him to get out? Puppey again with the swap, everything being used to try and get easy out of there. But maybe Rusin with the only stack, there's a lot of illusions. Oh my god! And he's down, Envy's already dropped as well, they've lost the gem! LGD running perfectly, RTZ. I'm feeling he's going to be chased a little bit, as you can see. LGD looking for him aggressive. Trying to catch out Arthur. RTZ at the moment just obviously pulling LGD away from getting any objectives complete. Looks like LGD, they'll ignore him for now. And they'll just make sure that they're able to keep some pressure on the mid lane after finding these 2 kills and avoid wasting any further time chasing down the
That had to have been like the best Omni Slash ever. It bounced all the way through the creep wave back to Envy, and then he gets a crit immediately after it ends to prevent getting sundered. Like that was couldn't have asked for a better one.
Easy. And saved by Pi's disruption coming absolutely confused for holding Secret on in this game. 9 seconds will have Envy back up. RTZ taking a lot of physical damage from aggressive. The stun will hold back the Ember. RTZ trying to turn it around. Another concoction. The ult on the one to ball, but looks like he just holds Secret back. LGD not wanting to fall into this one. Well, we're getting himself incredibly low, has to get himself back to base. The swap from Puppey, bringing Joey back. Now look to the Mirana, they'll take it. We're getting himself one, RTZ. Hang around with maybe there'll be a buyback from Joey. His support bots as well, he wants to come straight back into the fight here. Realizing that maybe they could use this point to go for some sort of power play against Secret, especially with Roshan back on the map as well. This is a very tense point of the game, and LGD is Xiao 8 back in with that buyback. Gonna head straight to the pit.
An easy shot.
See if they have a chance or even time to get over here, because LGD are going to take this one incredibly far. Agonim's now coming out from RTZ.
He gave it to 5.
He's giving it to 5.
Yeah, he's got the triple first.
Doesn't look like they're going to get any time though. LGD keep down Roche. Secret and making their best attempt to get over there, but it's down. Aegis coming in by maybe. RTZ coming in with the concoction, but Secret, they really want to try and find this one, Puppy. With a swab, and maybe Raw, held back. LB coming over the damage as well. Looking towards aggressive, he renders away. They're going to lose Puppy. Puppy the first to fall. Envy, he's hitting Creep. Hitting Hero, side Envy. Envy. Oh my. Envy down as well. RTZ again. Pie. He's doing his best to save his team, but this isn't going to save our door for sure. LGD chasing him down. RTZ trying to play his way around it, but he's going to get pushed out as well. Maybe with a double kill. And Secret at this moment, I don't know if it's out of frustration, but choosing to take fights in situations where there's a high chance it's going to go wrong, Andy.
I think they're just running out of options. They feel like they need to do something. They've just been playing a very passive game, letting LGD pretty much do whatever they want. We'll get a chance to watch this again. It's just showcasing the amount of damage that Aggressive does in these fights. He's going to get a sleight of fist off after the BKB of Envy. That just pretty much it's just painful. The Omni Slash, sleight of fist, and even Pilot I died couldn't get the disruption out of time.
That's not easy for this defense. Remember, amongst all this, he's still been unable to take the mid racks. You may see that change now, those maybe. And Aggressive, takes the range. Look towards the melee. He could have the full 5 mana, but they got anything they can do to stop this Pie leading in, but the racks are already down. That's it. Continuing with the slide. Coming around, they need some sort of catch. Secret can't quite find the opening. They can't stop LGD. So LGD find the objective in the mid lane. Don't pay a price for it at all, and they'll get themselves straight in position to look for a repeat performance on the top lane as things are starting to look very, very sketchy indeed for Secret.
I'm not really sure how they're supposed to defend. And maybe is just able to walk up. He's got that butterfly, the Aegis. He can just hit the tower. When he goes back, he can get the cold embrace. He can heal back up again. They have healing ward on top of that. And Aggressive, sitting on 4,000 gold, so he's getting close to another item. He's going to sell those drums soon.
GD. Very much ready to go in again. Secret have got everything up and ready for defense. They're trying to push out the mid approach. Is this a smoke up? Just actually gonna go for the straight up move around. But LGD, they just moonlight move in. Secret, they're gonna get themselves out of there. Envy's gotta be careful in case he gets caught out by these boys. Puppy does have a swap available if they need to save him. Puppy backing up, Envy, turns around, he's gonna get out, he will! He keeps himself alive for the time being. RTZ moving in straight onto LGD, forcing them back out of the base. Xiao 8 stunned up by Puppy. The boat is coming forward, and Secret, again, somehow not losing anyone there. Envy, very lucky to get away with his life there.
I think he's trying to give people heart attacks, honestly. There's so many Lincolns, actually, on LGD right now. Well, I guess 2 is so many in this case, but... Still, Envy used BKB there.
And we go again, and in, RTZ, picking up the concoction. Towards Aggressive, they can't quite get it off, just onto Illusion.
Radiant's top tower is under
LGD,
attack.
again, they're getting a serious amount of damage down as this tier 3 in Secret. They're not stopping it yet. LGD just weaving perfectly in and out of the base of her Secret, rendering them unable to do anything to punish this kind of play. It still is just a case of sending the illusions out from Secret, trying to draw LGD's attention away from giving us a 5-man up top. Yeah, we have it. They do anything to stop it. We just Blade Fury moves in. It's the tower. They're going to find it. Reflecting from Envy, trying to be used to slow them down. But the Mortis will see the jump, and the Cold Embrace is there. Banana's going to go down. Maybe they need to secure the Juggernaut with the arm from Envy, his team. They kill Envy. Envy dies the hands of his teammates. They have killed one. They managed to take the Aegis out of the hands of maybe. LGD still hanging around with the Moonlight shadow. Envy's moved forward.
Dominating!
He's dead! He's dead for 70 seconds! This could be the end for Secret unless the four of them can pull out a miracle. Aggressive. The kill on Saboba. The demonic perch holds him back, but simply remnants out of the base again.
Radiant
Fortification comes out of Secret. Still 1 minute without Envy on the defensive. Get the kill with him. Again, no white. Aggressive. He put the kill on Easy. Falling on his tail. Magic missile to maybe the jug is down. Puppy stepping up when it's needed the most. They'll find the kill onto the Juggernaut. And with those plays, Secret again somehow keeping themselves in this match.
It was much more costly investment for LGD at the end of the day.
chest.
Even considering Envy's dieback, he lost quite a bit there, but obviously maintaining the racks is the bigger win here for Secret. It's a very... I mean, LGD want to go in because you can watch what happens to Envy here. The curse, it's every single person on Secret just beating into him. That was a 5-man curse. Extremely good placement there. And then as soon as the buyback comes out, they're like, okay, whatever, no BKB, no meta. But Envy just trying to walk in because he wants to take the fight to make use of the buyback, but they just instantly kill him. There's no save at all. At the end of the day, Secret maintain their top set of racks. They still have a lot to go if they want to make a comeback here.
I mean, just little things like, you look at the fact that Aggressive Ember, he's on par with Arteezy's Alchemist.
That's not a good thing.
That is not a good thing. That is,
if you're Secret, you want your Alchemist, yeah, you want your Alchemist to be like doubling the network of the next highest person in the game, more or less. But the problem is, it's a 50-minute game. And obviously, in the laning phase, Arteezy was fairly pressured. So it's not the easiest game for him anymore. I think the last thing that he can start to do, besides replace his armlet with another item, is just start to buy Aghanims for people, and he's already obviously gotten one for Pi. I'm just not sure if the Aghanims are really going to mean that much. It's not really the best team for the Aghanims.
LGD after that situation up top. Oh, we're just going to focus on still finishing up even more items, maybe. Salt Crass is done. And that in itself is just going to add so much to this high ground push from LGD. Make it even harder for Secret to beat back into them, even with the high base physical damage from Envy's Terrorblade.
Honestly, I think that more than anything, one of the heroes on Secret needs MKB for maybe, because now that he has like AC and Butterfly, it's going to become so hard to kill him with just physical damage. Again, we talk about itemization and how easy it is to itemize against a team. I feel like LGD, all you really need is armor. You have armor, the Terrorblade and the Alchemist both do significantly less to you in these fights. In that sense, maybe his itemization and just overall play this game has been phenomenal. I mean, yeah, you can attribute a lot of his kills to the early runes and whatnot, but it's just LGD being able to control the runes better than Secret did this game. And it put them in such a huge advantage, just taking away the map control, the aggressive warding that LGD had the entire game, getting so many picks. Just imagine if Secret hadn't had such an abysmal laning phase. The lineup had a much different feeling.
Absolutely, because in terms of the fights, as you said, considering how much more that LGD have, it's impressive in the sense for Secret that they are able to achieve what they have been. You know, being able to take down some of the members of LGD. LGD moving across. So unable to find the latch onto Envy. Secret backing up. Okay, looks like Bulber's going to be the first to fall. Does have buyback available on the Beastmaster, but LGD find a pick. We can see though again, because of the pressure of the lanes, they've got to back right up before they can get this mid lane pushed in. Pressure from Secret usually being put on by their illusion-based lineup. And obviously worth noting as well, Aghanims was given to Puppy, so we've got Ags on the bench now for the next defense.
Yeah, the two best people to get Aghanims for on the team, easily. And plus, you know, Blade doesn't actually have an Aghanim, so no real use in giving it to him.
Let's see if they able to play buyback on Bulb. Envy would be caught up with the arrow. Puppy actually trying to swap out. Magic missile in to follow through. They're looking for the loop. Can't quite get it. The illusion of death. Fighting from death. Puppy looking for challenge. Oh, the break. Keeps him alive. Ever wide. Will go down though. Envy takes down a second. LGD. Good luck too. Secret moving the ball. Banana. He's in trouble as well. Not easy. Surrounded with the illusion. The illusion conquer. Secret. They are defending. I don't know how they're quite doing it, Andy, but they're able to hold their own against a team that's got so far behind. And LGD at this point, they're starting to struggle.
I feel like if the Ember doesn't get a crit during a Sleight of Fist, the fight's actually, there's so much damage output on Secret that if they get a good target swap after the Cold Embrace, they just blow them up. Terrorblade annihilates them in seconds with the Inner Beast Aura and whatnot. Obviously, Sam died during that fight because of the Winter's Curse, and truth be told, that curse was okay, but you really want to hit at least one of the cores with it if you can to make sure that you have that hero not hitting during that point, because that curse was meant to save Xiao Wei, and it didn't save him, and then he dies, and then after that point, LGD are already on the back foot. So again, brilliant defense here from Secret. They're going to go for a quick smoke play. Roshan is up.
Getting Roshan for Secret will be absolutely huge at this stage. A stage of the game where LGD have been able to take it. Now Secret able to do anything. Still 3 members of LGD down, so Secret can move straight into the pit. And so they get away with this already. Illusions inbound, so LGD will be aware of what's going on. Secret under as quickly as they can. Okay, they're spooked. They're spooked. They see the illusions, they back out. They don't want to commit to a Secret.
Now, here we go.
And the question is, do they want to try and fight LGD around it? LGD themselves, as we've seen, they can take it down a fair bit quicker than Secret if they don't really commit with Metamorphosis.
I think they would probably just let LGD get it again. I mean, they've defended against multiple Aegis pushes so far, right? And it's actually getting to a point in the game where the Ember Spirit is pretty much not going to have any more inventory slots for another item anyway.
Roach, they go. Secret. They're not going to make a move for this. They've got to accept that LGD can't be stopped. To Roshan Aegis. To by Xiao Wei. Cheese is still on the ground. Looks like they don't want the cheese. Gee.
Maybe they're not hungry.
Lactose intolerant.
Yeah. Alright, looks like, yeah, MMY is going back for it.
There we have it.
I think the curse becomes really important at this stage in the game for him. You know, saying that it only killed the Beastmaster in the last fight and didn't disable any of the cores, that's a really big thing. Because look at the way that the fight worked out when he got like a 5-man curse and just blows up the Terrorblade, his whole team kills him. It's a really big deal for MMY to get the proper positioning and the curse placement. But he's been playing very well. His Cold Embraces have more or less been on point.
I think both RTZ and MV do have buyback at the ready, which may be needed, especially if LGD going as hard as they were before. So we've seen Secret definitely relying on some of these key buybacks to hold the fort and hold back LGD's advances. Again, as we can see, top lane, it's being shoved out fairly hard. Aggressive has to TP out there
The Swift, the
to deal with that. But already, as soon as the attention's drawn away from mid, and RTZ and MV are there with the illusions, pushing the lane back out. Because he's constantly just picking up as much as they can from the map, even with regards to the amount of pressure LGD's heroes themselves are putting on Secret. So much money on aggressive, 8.6k in the bank. This is an incredibly rich hemisphere. LGD, the odds on Arteezy. He's out. Again, a bit of deja vu. We've seen LGD before. They weren't able to do it last time. Can do it now with Aegis and Cheese at the ready.
Still a very hard high ground to crack. I'm kind of wondering if there's some point where Aggressive decides to go for a rapier. I feel like the team still lacking damage a little bit against the cores of Secret because they have double save, right? They have the swap and they have the generation, so it's difficult for them to just flat out get a kill when they're going high ground unless the curse from MMY lands on the point.
In. Again. In and out, LGD on this top lane. Down, put the master, moving forward, maybe with the Lotus Sword on it. Again, Pie with the defensive disruption, Puppy. There's some sort of swap to make sense, sending out the pressure, Remnants away. There's the swap on 10 and 1, put Puppy the whole way around. They take down the White, there's no Wyver, Puppy gets his life, but he's got a second one, he's got MK! The dead isn't there to fight Puppy, unable to help out a second time. It's a 1-for-1 trade, Secret, don't find anything else here. Next mark set up, onto Arteezy. Xiao Wei very low at the moment, has to blink away. Again, LGD unable to get the racks and just taking the 1-for-1 trade, which it just feels at this stage of the game is not good enough for LGD. They need more.
This is what happens when you have too many melee heroes in the same team. LGD don't have very good siege, so pretty much have to take a fight in order to hit buildings at this point. And since you have Chemical Rage and a super farmed Alchemist now with the Mjolnir as well, he can just be the front line, he kills the creep wave. And because you deal a little bit of damage, he can still heal it up with the chemical rays and doesn't need other forms of sustain to actually be able to defend his own base. So it's working out pretty well for the time being. LGD, they're not getting impatient though. They're not going for any crazy plays where they base dive and such to try to end the game. They're just playing it safe. They say, look, you only really have 2 heroes on your team that are getting farmed. We are potentially farming 3 at the same time. So we're still going to continually get a little bit farther ahead, even though at this point it's kind of an incremental gain because so many of the cores are close to 6 slotted, if not already. It'll just be down to if Secret make a mistake. It's just going to take one.
Again, not easy. Closing the fight. MP already trying to find the target. Schmaltz is in. Yes. I mean, very much so. The stalemate between the two sides. Secret up to get to the point where they have an answer to every time that LGD try and look for a jump in.
There!
I mean, like, they really want to try and use this to get some positioning. Seem to try and slide down the back line and give them some kind of crit. It's going to happen aggressive. Man up again, starts easy. For the rack, again, jumps back. I still need to get at least the range track down on LGD. As we can see, it feels like this could go on for a while, Andy. It's constant back and forth from the top lane.
I mean, this is a super stressful situation for both teams. You know, if LGD mess up the push, Secret can get a lot of mapping from the back. Oh, he's gonna leap away.
He's able to finish off the range tracks now. At this point, of course, that is the least to Secret's worried.
Yeah, range tracks honestly means nothing.
And more money racking up on a RTZ. You can think about getting more acts. He's got the courier out on the sidelines. He's trying to get it over. But it's obviously very risky for him to do so with the full side of LGD in the area.
Yeah, they didn't even have a ward as well, so if he sent the courier back the normal way, it would probably just die. He's gonna have to send it like back through the tree and then back to the tree line and then back to base.
He's actually picking himself a moonshot as well as the point booster ready for the next act. And as you said, he's got to be careful with the trip that this courier makes back. Oh, he's out of range of that. So
he was skirting it around the
yeah.
ward vision, so they have some kind of idea that there would be some vision. Very nice courier movement. I guess at this point we just give the Aghanim to Beastmaster and then just go for stop Aghanims. Does he want that change or something?
You can see just a reflection as well from Envy. Causing issues for LGD. Swap on the down, they're trying to work him down. Holding range is there. Keeping the right side being losing man. Heavy. Over the first get taken down on the sidelines. Turns around with the magic missile on the maybe. They weren't able to finish off Xiaowei as he gets himself back to safety. Aggressive for RTZ. Trying to man fight it. Arthur took it over to Tolchi with the turn there. Falls back as well, maybe. Demonic Pearl. Nearly did it again. The golden rays from MMY. Keeping on the line. They'll still finish it. Much damage. They've taken 2. They're looking for Banana. They're not done yet. Secret on the defensive. They are doing it again. They'll take double kill for Envy. They're holding the base. 62 minutes in! Secret, a team that looked to be on the absolute back foot against LGD, and they're consistently holding them off and coming out on top of these fights.
I mean, the Alchemist has so much sustain. He takes so much damage. LGD try to go in, but maybe he's just completely isolated at this point because of the fact that they already had their other core back out. He's just in there all alone. Regardless at this point, if you have a golden race, it's not going to save if the rest of your team can't back you up. LGD overextending, getting punished very hard for it.
Oh boy, what a game we've got on our hands here in the lower bracket. First round, best of 1. I think people obviously expected this one to be a tight one, but to go down like this as well. As I said, with a start where it really looked like Secret were playing like group stage Secret. It wasn't quite there, but now everything's starting to come together for them on the main stage. And they're slowing down the pushes of a team that seem to have built up an unstoppable force, but somehow Secret, as a group, are able to hold them back. And now LGD, they've got to be very careful about these advances that they look to take, because you lose a fair few more and Secret are suddenly, they're going to be in a position to power down a lane, and with the pushing power of a Terrorblade, they get close to your base, they're ripping it to pieces.
Not only the Terrorblade, but just the power of the Shadow Demon Illusions at this stage in the game, when both your cores that you want to be disrupting have 6 slots. this is getting increasingly stressful for LGD. Like, they were in such a dominant position not too long ago, and sure, they might be able to still push the lanes out again because they have that Ember Spirit, they have the Mirana with Ags, and that Battle Fury on maybe as well. Juggernaut is just kind of, he's topped out. He's not really doing much more than, you know, he can at this point. He's going in, like, trying to throw out an Omni or whatever, get a couple of hits on the racks, and at that point, he's just out of gas. He's not much more than an ult and a healing ward at this point.
As we can see, Secret, obviously with the way the recent times of the game as well, they're feeling a bit more confident in coming out. Do have buybacks up on everyone apart from Puppey as well, so they have that bit of a fallback as well to come out and look for these movements, look for these plays. LGD themselves, they are in the neighborhood in their own jungle. Moonlight Shadow. We'll see how much LGD want to use this to kick it off. And even just with the mighty amount of illusions the Secret have out, it just makes it so hard and confusing for LGD to fight into and fight around. And constantly having to be aware of Secret just putting on the pressure elsewhere. As Secret looks to back up, pushing out the top lane. They just have back clearing out the mid and keeping the bottom away from that last set of untouched racks on the bottom. Still, of course, with the melee racks alive up top. Another axe out from Artur.
Yeah, that one's for him.
Okay.
That's a gift for Artur.
Got to get them stats.
Yeah, he gave it to the other 3 heroes who actually had Aghanim upgrades already. So the last one's just going to be Envy.
Come on, Envy.
Yeah.
We'll get it eventually.
I think it's actually better to give it to Envy first than to take it yourself as the alpha. It's a very small thing.
And at the same time, RTZ has been the one to tank. You know, he goes
Yeah,
forward
he is
first.
the one who's in front.
Yeah, he's the punching bag. Signing extra bit of armor trying to give us, you know, the extra HP is. Gonna go a little way. Roshan seems to be the next callback for the side of LGD once again. It's gonna be up any second now. Secret, we've seen them unable to really fully engage and fight around the Roche pit. They may feel now in a bit of a stronger position to do so.
Yeah, I think they actually want to contest this one. Their movement.
So they can take the fight out on the map. If they start off like this, Nana taken out. We're cold embrace from MMY, but still, Secret, they want to follow through on this one, but Nana falling low, and they'll take it. That's the Kunkka down. Can they get themselves anything else out of this one?
Another one.
Brings in MMY. He's in trouble as well. Heading into the pit. They're chasing him down. Royce down, beating down a bit more. Secret. They find themselves a second. Aggressive still playing around with this one. He's got to be careful. Puppey. Chased down by the illusions. RTZ keeping him alive as he clears them out with the Shiva's guard. Aggressive. On he goes. Still running away from Pi.
They got to be worried about top lane.
Got to send something back indeed. Xiaowei is putting the pressure on. They'll send Envy back for this. The rest of the team sticking around to look to take Roshan. Pai's going to come up as well. They've got to be careful. They've got to be careful here, Secret. They need backup. How quickly are they doing Roshan? That is the question. So, he's got to watch himself. He's got to watch himself. The man team might be fine as he's very close to Fountain. Notice will still towards the direction, but Secret, they've managed to do it. They create the space. Can they kill maybe though? Maybe they can punish him for this. Puppey is going to have the magic missile available. Swap maybe back. Jowet's coming as well. Get the arrow to RTZ. RTZ needs help. He's going down. Going back Jowet. He needs help. He's coming in the form of aggressive. The concussion's there. He's charging it up, but aggressive. And Lakers and RTZ's going to go down. Envy looking to come in the top from Banana, holds it back. Everyone playing on the side. No, the side of the illusion. He keeps himself alive. Look at the giant football. Envy's down. LGD is still coming out on top. Whiteout's is coming out. Pi, RTZ getting himself back in the game. The other 3 heroes down at the moment do have buyback available. We'll see if they hold on to it. If this push is going to come in. So Secret obviously do get the Roche, get the Aegis, but they lose the Aegis, they lose the fight, and indeed, aggressive fights back. He's going to see this as the window to end the game. They're heading straight for the bottom lane, LGD. Buyback from Envy. Oh, it's going to be back in 10, naturally.
Radiant structure.
See what Secret can do. Fortification. Again, they need some big, absolutely amazing opening to this fight. Just spamming out with a reflection, looking towards Xiaowei, RTZ. They will force LGD back, but buybacks being used left, right, and center.
Here we go. There's the rapier.
Rapier time, boys and girls. Ooh, 68 minutes in this game. Secret LGD is heating up.
And that fight in the river was so unfortunate. He didn't pop the BKB on Envy.
Saving it for TI7 and. Wait. Teasing with him here. See how Secret deal with the punches of aggressive as he comes in with the AP. It's easy again, caught up by the chains. Towards Joey, the body punch, over score, Joey, again, caught in break. Remember what he's the right, maybe trying to get it on the front line, but the Audi, it's been loads of sort, they're on each other, and maybe now they've overextended the conversion. The first is gone, and the right, Helltown maybe get himself away from Secret. They've lost Envy, Envy's down, no buyback available for the Terrorblade. Secret with only 4 men left, that needs something huge. Spike jumps in with a disruption to set up RTZ. Looking for the concussion, looking for Banana. Again, the cold embracing from MMY. Make this on, my puppy gets a step back from the side. The Rapier, it could all be over for Secret, RTZ. He's just about to away all his blood. They may be going there for good. There's a disruption from Prime. But the bonus in RTZ
Double kill.
and Secret are crumbling after holding on.
Radiant's middle tower is under
It's all
attack.
too much for them. Secret
Radiant's
are
middle
going
tower
home.
is
Round one in the lower bracket. LGD, 69 minutes in, are able to seal the deal. What a match.
That was an unbelievable defense from Secret. You got to give him props for as far behind as they were in that game to make that good of a hold for that long. It's just unfortunate that this was a best of one lower bracket game because I think the fans would want to see more from both these teams.
Absolutely. LGD, Xiaowei and the boys, the director, he says to Secret, you've all been cut. What a game. What a